God's flower garden. God picked a brittle rose for his flower garden, a young child of 5, to heavenly beauty. He always picks these, of splendor begotten, that color heaven's peace but still life entirely. Are the other ones too old, too withered then? Is this child the rose that God needs this moment? The child died so young, still a whole life to spend. She leaves her parents, seeking for atonement. Parents' pain is not as God important here as having a fine, godly garden enshrined. Does God draw a line of death insanely here, over which she'll trip, for sure, to heaven's time? God measures your faith within your deepest hell, so you can attest about his higher might. He'll never test you above your strength, they tell, even though dark hell feels unbearable to fight. God is not darkness, so says the Holy Book. He will, however, watch you groping in there. Faith will carry you through the furnace like gold. But did anyone ask me about unbear? Darkness lets me drift unto my hour of death. Will my suicide then fill God's flower garden? You will die for sure to God's will, it's been said. Even if suicide drives you through death's garden. If that's the case, God's flower garden does not attract at all. It gives me no hope for my being caught in pain. If I must live now for heaven's way call, what's the sense of life within this struggling chain? The weed on earth chokes me down, a deep dark hell. Here is no garden with lights I now so need. Why must I live now, eyes on God's heaven well? Meanwhile suffocate in this life's strangling weeds? I can't put my hope in what God promises while I contemplate on life's hopelessness here. Cliches about God's garden are faithless, false. It entangles life in an unholy bear. God's flower garden time will not stumble me over the dreaded line. It is pain on earth that brings death to its birth.